Good morning. Good morning. It is the Monday Morning Money Show. It's the Billy Merritt Show. I am here today in beautiful downtown Douglas, Georgia. I got my staff behind me over here. I got Jamie on the back of the screen. Now, we do have some very exciting news. Our studio is 90% ready to go. So we've worked on it all weekend long. We do have an amazing studio that we're about ready to unveil. One of the issues was a busted screen on our amazing video wall. Now, I think it came in like that, so we're waiting on that. We won't be able to. We want to unveil it for 2021. We wanted to unveil the beautiful studio. It is awesome, Jamie. I mean, on a scale from 1 to 10, I know where it's at now. We can't judge, but where it's going to be when we get that doggone computer screen fixed, what do you think it's going to be?
10.
A 10. It's hard to be a 10. Here's what I want to do today. I want to talk about money. I want to talk about a book that I read that I'm actually in the middle of reading that's really, really powerful. I've read a whole lot of books, and it's kind of unusual for me to find a book that I kind of haven't already read or that I don't know a lot about, but I want to talk to you about a book that's very important. So what I want to do is interact with some people today as well. If you're watching this show, then I ask you to please headphones almost fell off. I want you to like this video, but give me a comment. I want to see who is watching today, and I want to talk to you. We have Joyce Campbell. What did she say?
Honey, I thought you were down to your mom's, honey.
So I think, Joyce, you have me confused with somebody who's catfishing you. I think you need to look up the term catfish and see that. I think what has happened, Joyce, is someone has used my images to trick you. This happens a lot, Jamie. People,
A lot.
It does happen a lot. People take my images, they take my photos, and then they solicit nice people like Joyce, and they try to extract money from them. So don't give money to whoever it is that you think is Billy, because this is the real Billy. I'm right here in Douglas, Georgia, and I haven't been messaging you anywhere else. Sorry about that. So please tell the person that you think's Billy, stop impersonating Billy. In the meantime, if anyone else is watching and you have a concern, if you have a question, if you have a comment, if you have a goal, if you have something that you want to talk about or that you've learned in 2020 that you can help us with going into 2021, I want to hear about it. Now, while I'm waiting on someone to start commenting, I want to tell you about a book that I read recently called Principles by Ray Dalio. All right, now this is a very cool story, Jamie. It's a very cool story to those of you listening. Ray Dalio, very smart guy. He has been awarded, or he has been recognized by Forbes magazine as one of the top 100 richest people in the world. He has been recognized by, I think, Time magazine as one of the top 100 most influential people on the planet. There's lots of other recognition. Jamie, if you will, in the background, search Ray Dalio. That's R-A-Y, Dalio, D-A-L-I-O, I think. And just search Ray Dalio Awards or Ray Dalio. Let's see what we can find out that he has been recognized for. Academy of Achievement, possibly. And pull that up. Let's show the world. Let's show our audience who Ray Dalio is right there. I got a good point that I'm going to make about Ray. Jamie's going to share this with us. Boom, boom, boom. He's a hedge fund master. That's pretty cool. Is it going to show us? It's not going to show us what it did earlier. That's fine. Scroll down a little bit. We'll look at the global finance right there. Ray Dalio was born in Jackson Heights, born in Queens, only child. Mother was a homemaker. His father was a jazz musician who played the clarinet. For spending his money, he held down a paper route. From age of 12, he worked as a caddy. Scroll on down a little bit. He's a small little guy. Scroll on down. In the boom years of the 1960s, he was given unexceptional academic performance in high school. So he wasn't good at high school. All right. Is it got me in the
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So he wasn't good at high school, but he turned out to be one of the top richest 100 people in the world. You can go back to just me because I think I can probably kind of give you a summary better than trying to read it at the same time. He was not good in high school, but he went to college. Now, he did like college. He was good at college because he got to study the things that he liked, including money and economics and the systems and the monetary system. And he was one of the first people to use algorithms to predict big movements in the markets. He was one of the first people to use computers to predict changes in the markets, and it worked really well. And he started noticing in 1970, I think it was the early 70s, around 73, that all the economics were pointing towards another depression. Everything was matching up just like they did in 1929. So he thought for sure that a huge collapse was coming. As a matter of fact, 1983, Jamie. It was not 73. It was 83. 1983, he predicted another depression. They even brought him up to Congress, and he spoke before Congress, and they listened. And some people listened to him, and then they started printing money to get out of this situation, which he thought was going to cause a collapse. And it didn't happen. The economy continued to grow. Inflation did not factor in very much. So he was totally wrong. It wiped him out. He was betting on a financial collapse, and it didn't happen. In 1983, he was broke. In 1983, he had a company named Bridgewater, and they were advising people, and they were investing people's money, and he got it wrong in 1983. He lost it all. He had a client in Texas that wanted him to come see him to help him. He could not afford to buy a plane ticket in 1983 to fly him from, maybe he was in Chicago or he was somewhere in the Midwest or the Northeast, and he couldn't afford a plane ticket to get him to Texas. So he wasn't even able to do business. Now, he actually had to sell borrow $4,000 from his father and sell his second car to make ends meet. All right. Fast forward 12 years to 1995. In 1995, he learned from his mistakes, Jamie. In 1995, he was the hedge fund manager with over $30 billion under management. $30 billion of assets under management. And again, he went on to become one of the richest people on the planet. Now, here's what he says in principles. He's definitely someone worth listening to. Before I get into his principles, let's take a look and see what Joey Orbison said right there.
Billy, is Bitcoin too high now to invest in as an asset without massive risk? It hits $31,250 today. How much higher can you see it going before people start taking profit out of it and the price falls?
As a matter of fact, I think it's already hit 35,000. Pull up a Bitcoin chart. I'll answer that question. We'll go back to it, and then we'll get into something. I'm gonna break down your question line by line, Joy. But I want to take a look at Bitcoin chart. Maybe that's fine. Chart price, it'll come up. So let's do a 5-day right there. Click on the 5-day. Yep, right there. Boom. Yep. So see, Joey, you can put that on the screen for everybody to see. All right. Split screen with me. So Joey, if you look, scroll over there to, you on the 5-day still? Yeah. Okay. You're going to have to move your mouse so that you can see the peak. That's the bottom right there. Go to the peak right over there. Back to your left. See the tallest point in that chart right there. 34,000. Okay, I thought it hit 35,000. So, Joey, to answer your question, it hit 34,403. I think it was a little bit higher than that. But according to the chart we're looking at right here, The high is somewhere around 34,000, Joey. So just imagine, Joey, if you had bought in because you said, you know what, this is a great investment. It's 34,450, and it's about to go to 40,000. If you'd bought in right there, and now today it's at 31,000, that's a pretty significant loss. However, you can go back to just me so I can talk to Joey and read his questions. However, Joey, let's put his comment back up there. Is Bitcoin too high to invest in as an asset without massive risk? So, number one, it's not an investment, Joey. So we're going to have to take your first part of your question right there. Is it now too high to invest in? You are not investing in Bitcoin. You can put your money in Bitcoin and you are speculating. Okay. I know there's plenty of people that can argue with me on this. But if it was an investment that goes from $34,000 to $31,000, like that, is very volatile. Could it go to 40,000? Could it go to 50,000? Could it go to 100,000? Sure, it can. It might, but it is a total speculation. There is no intrinsic value in Bitcoin. It is not used as money. It is used now. They're trying to replace it and trying to say it's the new gold. As a store of value. That's not a good store of value. If it goes from 34,000 to 31,000, it's volatile. It is. Okay, Carson's going to comment here. It's already very risky. It could absolutely go to 40,000 or it could go to 4,000. Okay. Put James, let me finish Joey's real quick. Okay. It hit 31,250 today. You're right. 2 or 3 days ago, as we saw, it hit 34, almost 35,000. How much higher can you see it going before people start taking profit? They took profit from 34,000 to 31,000, Joey. It was at 34,450, and a bunch of people said, I'm getting out. They might have bought in at 10,000 or 15,000, so they doubled their money, maybe 3x their money. They did outstandingly well. Congratulations. And some people are holding on to it. Some people bought the dip when it went down to 31,000. So, Joey, if you want to try, go for it. It is a total possibility that it could shoot to 40,000, 50,000, 100,000. I don't think it's going to happen. I personally think it's a bubble. I don't see Bitcoin going 10 years from now. If you're holding Bitcoin and you bought it at 31,000, I think you're a loser. That's my opinion. However, I am not an investor or an investment strategist. How much higher can you see? Okay. So Carson Henry, if you apply the same rules as the gold standard at scale, 1 Bitcoin is worth 1 million. Sure, if you apply the same rules, but it's 2 different things. Why would you apply the same rules to Bitcoin as you do to gold? They're not even close to the same thing. Gold is real. Gold's been around for thousands and thousands of years. Gold has been used as a money, and it's real, and it has other uses, jewelry, money. They use it in all sorts of things. You can look at what they use it for, but they don't use Bitcoin for anything. The only thing Bitcoin is used for, and I'm glad they use it for this, is a way to keep your money. So if you're doing illegal things, there are a lot of drug dealers who trade in Bitcoin. Now that sounds like a bad thing. I'm not saying that the gold trade, I'm not saying that the drug trade is good. It's bad. Okay. But the fact that they are able to use Bitcoin and that governments can't yet take it from them, that's a good thing for the point that Bitcoin is usable. Okay. But the problem is you're going to have to get people who are doing legal things. You're going to have to get people who are buying events from you, who are buying goods and services from you to start paying you in Bitcoin. And you say, wait a minute, you can buy Bitcoin on Cash App. Yes, you can. But how many of you use Bitcoin as a real currency to pay for things? And better yet, what percentage of the population uses Bitcoin to pay for things? Now, if we can get the entire population to start using Bitcoin to actually pay for things, then we'll have a much better chance of seeing Bitcoin soar and be $1 million an ounce, or per coin, like you said. Robert Ward said,
It is used for mass money transfers. Most drug dealers don't use Bitcoin. They use Cardano.
Cardano. So, or I think it's Cardano. So thank you, Robert. I appreciate your point, and you're obviously more educated on this than I am. So please do not take what I'm saying as that's not what the notes that I wanted to talk about, but I just giving you my opinion right now. But I want to talk about what Robert said here. It's used for mass money transfers. Okay, cool. I understand. Yes, it is. And I think what you mean maybe is if you have $1 million in cash and you want to convert it to something that you think is either more valuable or that will store that value and hold that value more than the dollar, because I think we can both agree, Robert, that the dollar is going down in value. So you can transfer that to Bitcoin. Hey, if you transferred it at 25,000, you're looking very smart right now. So it is used for mass money transfers. You can explain more about that, Robert, because again, I'm not this expert at this. Most drug dealers don't use Bitcoin. They use Cardano. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. Cardano, or they're using a digital currency is what he's saying. So, and I'm not sure that most drug dealers use any digital currency. I think that some, and a vast number, a lot of drug dealers are using digital currency. According to Robert, most of those who use digital currency use Cardano or whichever, if that's how you say it correctly. They're not using Bitcoin. That may be true. So there's another problem we have with the value of Bitcoin. There's so many different types of digital currencies, digital coins. And so what in the world makes you think that Bitcoin is going to be the one that the entire world starts using? Because as Robert has pointed out, most drug dealers don't even use Bitcoin. So, oh no, Robert, I'm not offended whatsoever, buddy. I'm using you as an example. Click on Robert's to show clicker right there. Just bought jewelry with Bitcoin. Okay, great. Cool. Click the next one. Oh, no offense at all, man. I'm not offended at all, my brother. I am using your example of trying to actually build a case or I'm trying to be to show some reason why some people would like Bitcoin. I'm not a Bitcoin guy. Carson Henry, what do you say next right there?
Every time money is printed, Bitcoin goes up. You can't create more Bitcoin like you can any other currency. That is the appeal. It cannot be manipulated.
Totally agree that it cannot be manipulated. Well, I don't totally agree with that. I think it's 100% being manipulated by the fact that the people who own all the Bitcoin are pumping. It is a pump and dump scheme, according to Billy. I hope you get rich with Bitcoin, Carson. I hope that however many coins you have are worth, that each coin's worth $1 million like you said it can happen. And it can happen, okay? I don't think it will happen. I think it's a bubble. The fact that Bitcoin goes up every time money is printed, heck, man, gold goes up every time money's printed. There's so many things that, or not every time actually, because there is a huge disconnect to the real economy and what we call the economy, or what we're judging is the economy now. The massive debt problem is a problem. Bitcoin's not the solution. Bitcoin's not the answer. That is not a causation. The printing of money does not cause Bitcoin to go up. It just so happens that while Bitcoin is going up, money is being printed massively. That's my opinion. It cannot be manipulated. I will give you that. Now, I think that Ray Dalio, by the way, is a big owner of Bitcoin. So, that actually goes to Robert and Carson here as a reason to speculate on it continuing to go up. If you have super smart people, by the way, Ray Dalio is much smarter than me when it comes to investing in money. I just wanted to bring out a couple of his ideas that I learned. It's pretty cool to me that a guy can go from nothing to a billionaire in 12 years. Now, he did not do that by speculating. He did that by noticing absolute laws and strategies that allowed him to make bets, big bets, while reducing risk and maximizing gains at the same time. That's how he was able to do it. Now, I'm still learning, but I do know this much already. You do not speculate. Here's how you get wiped out. All your eggs in one basket in a speculation. Now, all your eggs in one basket with something that's going to continue to go up. For instance, you can put all your eggs in gold, and it's going to be worth a lot more than it's worth right now 10 years from now. There is a very small chance that gold's going to go from 1900 to 900 in 10 years. Extremely difficult for that to happen. There is a zero chance that it's going to go from 1900 to zero. Our dollar could go from $1 to zero. It really could. I hope it doesn't, but it could do that. But you do not speculate. You don't want to get rich quick. You want to get rich for sure. So, diversification, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of diversification because I have all my eggs in me and in my call center and in my business, because every dollar that I invest into DigiNinja, into Billy Merritt Marketing, into Jamie Lopez, that comes back to me in an amount greater than $1. And so I'm just going to keep on pumping dollars into Jamie, keep on pumping dollars into our equipment and into our marketing and into our strategizing. And I'm confident that is going to give me more than $1 back. So find the thing that you're confident will pay you back. If you're 100% confident that Bitcoin is going to pay you back tremendously and there's no chance that it'll go down, then go for it. But Ray Dalio told me the story about a man who was a billionaire, one of the richest people he knew, who was investing all his money. Go to a silver chart. Pull up silver price or silver chart, either one. Silver price chart, that's fine. This is a very important story I'm about to give you right here. It may be on there. Probably any of those will work. Click on the price of silver. It should give us. All right, let's see if we can find a chart with we need like a historical chart. We need to be able to change this thing to a 6 months, 1 year, 10 years silver. Okay, man, we need a lifetime chart. So just go back to. I want to show you something that Ray Dalio taught me. Silver lifetime chart. Well, no, that's fine right there. Boom. Okay, so what year is that? We're right in the middle. So you have to scroll down and probably see the year at the bottom. Yep. Okay. So click on the chart. Click right in the middle right there. It should tell you. There you go. All right. Now share that on the screen. This is gonna be pretty cool, Carson. Hang around. Okay, so let's start over there in the bottom. Go to the bottom. Go to your left there, Jamie. Down right there. Okay, at $9.31, 1972. 1972, silver was $9.31, and Ray Dalio had a very good friend who said silver is going to the moon. Okay. So he started investing this was a billionaire. He started investing massive amounts of money when it was as low as $9. Creep it over just a little bit and see where it was at just a few months later on a little bit more. So, okay, it's up to 11. He said, Ray, it's going to the moon. He kept buying. Click it on over a little bit more. It's $18, $26. He said, Ray, it's going to the moon. Keep buying silver. Now, just a little bit over more. It started followed on down. It got down to $18. He said, look, guys, it's going to the moon. It's a pullback. Back up the wagons. Pour all you have into silver. It's going to the moon. What happened? Click on over there to the top. $48.94. I think it may have went to over $50. Whoa, does that say 100?
119.
Okay. So I didn't even realize it got that high. Okay. In February of 1980, silver was at over $100 an ounce. Guess what He was a genius. He was buying at $10. So that means if he's put all his money in $1 billion at $10, now he had $10 billion. Okay. But guess what? He said it's going to the moon. It's going to $1,000. So he borrowed all the money he could get. He leveraged everything he had. Bought silver at $1.19. Well, just scroll on over just a few months right there to the right. Ooh, that was nasty. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. At 87, that's fine. $12. He lost it all. He lost it all because he just knew that silver was going to $1,000 an ounce. He lost it all. A billionaire became a zero-aire. All right. Right around 2000, it bottomed out, I think, around $6. Now, by the way, anybody who was buying silver at $6 in 2001 and 2002, great job, because today it's at $26. Scroll all the way over. Right now, stop right there. That other little peak. No, to your right, the top peak should be right around 2010. No, go up. Right, stop right there. $24. That was right. That's the financial crisis, the debt crisis. Right at the beginning of Barack Obama's first year, $24 it got up. All right, but it fell. Boom, it collapsed, going down to $11. Now, if you bought it there, I think that next peak is going to be around $50 if you go all the way up to the top. Boom. I know. Okay. So 44, 56. I knew it went over 56. I was there. I was buying silver and gold on the way up, but at 56, I stopped. But I saw people saying, man, it's going to 100. It's going to 200. And I know people that spent tens of thousands of dollars buying silver at $50 an ounce. Now that all their money is worth half of what it's worth. For a long time, we went way below that, but it is back up to around $26 an ounce now. If you go all the way to the right, just as far as you can go. Oh, yeah. So I'm sorry. We still got some more time to go over there. Anyway, today, I'll just let you know that today, silver is, you can go back to just me. Silver is at around $26 an ounce. So let me say this on the Monday Morning Money Show. This may be the only clip that we get to use, because we've been rambling a lot today, but this may be the only clip that we can use in the future to drive people to the show. This is the Monday Morning Money Show. I'm your host, Billy Merritt, and I'm here to tell you that the more certain you are that something is 100%, the more likely you are wrong. I've seen tons of people gambling and betting on silver when it was $50 an ounce, that it was going to double, triple, and 10x. We all know that it dropped down to $13, so they got wiped out. The same thing could happen with Bitcoin. I'm not telling you that Bitcoin's not going to double, it's not going to go to 100,000, it's not going to go to 1 million. What I'm telling you is the more people who are certain that it's going to happen, the less likely it's going to happen. Let's go back to our comments. What did Carson say?
I don't hold any coin, LOL, but I do think a digital currency will be a main currency at some point. Too many banks supporting it.
Yeah, but Carson, but here's the problem with that. The central banks may come up with a digital currency, but that's not good for anybody. They're not going to use Bitcoin when this happens. They're going to use their dollar. And they're going to give you and me and Jamie and everyone watching an account at the central bank. And the only way that we will be paid is through a digital currency that they give you, which will allow them to have 100% full control over you. So let me draw a line in the sand right here and say, I hope the Bitcoin people are right. I'm a Bitcoin fan. I don't think they're going to do it. I think before the Bitcoin goes to $1 million, the central banks who control the world, Carson, I'm sure you know this, will have their own digital currency, And we will be slaves to only being able to interact and trade and spend money through their digital account. It's scary, but it's more likely that that's going to be the case than having Bitcoin run to $1 million. That's my opinion again. What else we got?
I don't buy anything I don't understand, no matter how much I like it or the idea.
I tend to agree with that. Now, listen, I bought Bitcoin before. I bought a little bit. I bought it at 10,000. I sold it at 20,000. I don't care if it goes to 100,000. I'm not going to say, man, I wish I had held on, because I don't understand it either. And more, actually, I do kind of understand it. I feel like I understand it, and it doesn't make sense. So gold and silver, they'll always have some value. That's my opinion. And investing in yourself, Carson, we've already talked about this. Investing in yourself is the most sound advice, the most sound investment that you can make. Let's talk about what Ray Dalio says when it comes to his principles and to goals. He says, set clear goals. I've never met any successful business person, investor, financial advisor that didn't agree with that. So we're still at the beginning of the year. And I hope that most of you wrote your goals down on New Year's Eve or either on New Year's Day. I'm imploring you, I'm begging you, if you are watching this show and you want some advice that will change your life, write your goals down again today. Write them down today. Keep writing your goals down. That's going to keep you focused on your goals. Here's a big one that we don't like to talk about, Jamie, that most people don't, but Jamie and I talk about it very often. Identify problems and don't tolerate them. Jamie, what is our job description? Each one of us, what's our number one job title here?
Solve problems.
We're problem solvers. So
Problem solvers.
yeah, man, absolutely. So in order to solve a problem, you have to identify it. You can't ignore the problems. So you have to wake up in the morning. Being an optimist is very, very important. But you have to look for problems. If you're not looking for problems, you can't solve them. Now, I didn't say be a problem spotter, because there's a big difference. There's a lot of people who see problems and say, oh, man, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and this is wrong. And all they want to do is complain and bitch about it. That's not what I'm talking about. You identify the problem and you don't tolerate them. That means you solve the problem. So I think, if Ray Dalio, who went from broke to billionaire in about 10 years, then I can listen to that. Diagnose your problems to find the root cause. That makes sense. That's kind of the same thing to me. Design solutions to get around problems. That's all about process. So a lot of this is kind of common sense, but common sense is very often not that common. Okay, I want to see. There was one other thing. Okay, here we go. Embrace reality and relentlessly find the truth. So goals may not be true yet, but they are a future truth. You have to absolutely embrace the reality that's around you. And if things are bad, you can't ignore it. You have to say, hey, man, things are bad right now, and here's what I have to do. I have to find the truth. Here's the problem. Fix the problem so that we can move forward. This is my favorite one. And I'm actually going to talk about two more right here. Ray Dalio, very smart man, smarter than me, says you have to have radical open-mindedness. Now, he said radical open-mindedness. That means that I have to be able to consider that Jamie is right and I am wrong, even though I may have, as a matter of fact, I have 30 years experience in sales and business. That means I'm going to probably know more. I definitely know more things than Jamie, but I have to come to Jamie with an open-mindedness that says, you know what? He may know something that I don't know, so I have to listen. So radical open-mindedness, which leads to disagree thoughtfully. We have discussions. We have discussions this morning, Jamie, and there's a whole crew of people back here behind me, Paul, and we have to be able to disagree thoughtfully and remain open-minded. So, people who draw a line in the sand and say, this is it, and this is the only way it can be, they're probably going to be in for a rude awakening. People who can thoughtfully disagree and listen. Man, you got to be able to listen. You learn from people who may know something you don't know. Be open-minded, listen, disagree thoughtfully. And there's a place for argument. Okay. In our family, my wife, April, she really doesn't like it when the 4 boys, 3 boys and me, we get into a conversation about anything. There's going to be about 4 different opinions. And it's an argument, but it's not an argument of you're dumb, I'm smart, not usually anyway. But many times we can thoughtfully argue to come up with something that's the truth. Does that make sense, Jamie?
Yes, sir.
You know, we can argue, but it doesn't have to be just because I'm arguing my point doesn't mean that I'm right and you're wrong. It means, hey, man, I really think this is the case, and you're going to have to really show me that you know something that I don't know for me to change my mind. And often it happens. But that's only possible because we do it thoughtfully and open-minded. You can't argue with I'm right, you're wrong mentality and change anything. You have to make an argument based on some good, solid facts and be willing to move. For instance, Carson, you and I don't hold any coin, but if somebody could make a strong enough argument to me that I needed to purchase some, I would do it. That's being open-minded. You better be smart, though. You got to be Ray Dalio. He may convince me. I wouldn't put all my eggs in the basket, though. Obviously, we have some foreign fans down there. Don't know what that means, but I'm guessing that's German. I have a lot of fans in Germany. We have people that send us German cookies and German cakes on Christmas. So feel free to send any cake or any gift. You can send us your gifts. 118 North Pearl Avenue, Douglas, Georgia. Send us some gifts. Give us some advice. Give us some comments. Carson, thank you guys. Thank you for everybody who showed up today for this very, very important show of how to remain open-minded, understand that you could be wrong, but make an argument for why you think you're right. Hey, guys, we're going to be back tomorrow with a sales show. I'm a sales expert. I'm not a financial advisor expert, even though I have some pretty good ideas. And I can study successful people, and hopefully I can give you some information that's helpful. I know I can help you sell more of whatever it is you're going to sell. By the way, put this number across the screen. Nope, don't do it. Put this across the screen, BillyMerritt.com. You don't even have to do it. That's easy enough. BillyMerritt.com, and send me a chat. Chat with me, BillyMerritt.com. I will tell you the secret of how to sell more product without spending any more money. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the Billy Merritt Sales Academy, the Digi Ninja Sales Academy. That starts tomorrow at 11 a.m. We'll see you right here. Can't wait.